Hey, good morning. Welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun with Benzion. Today's daf is the last daf in Masach Nedarim. Daf Sadi Aleph, number 91. We have finished Masach Nedarim, and with today's share, we'll have given 90 Iyun shir on Masach Nedarim. Come on, go to a sefer. Go open a sefer of an Achron. I don't know. You can open a sefer on Nedarim or Baruch Ber on Nedarim. You could open the Chazon Ish on Nedarim. You can open the Kilos Yaakov on the Stipler. I'm telling you, they're not going to have 90 shiurim. None of them have 90 shiurim, especially one on each daf. And I do. And it's on YouTube. It's a much bigger audience. I'm saying this is saved on the cloud on YouTube forever, hopefully. And people always have access to it. Otherwise, and you can hear it. It's oral Torah, right? It's Torah Shabbat Pet. And not Torah Shabbat Tav. It's written in some sefer. It's very hard. I always had problems reading these Sfarim, it's much harder to grasp what written words than it is to grasp oral words. You hear a share from someone and they explain it. It's much better. When I record myself, it's oral Torah. That's what it is, right? You're just hearing a recording of me. It's not Torah Shabbat Tav. It's not written. I didn't write anything down, right? It's just pixels. That's what it is. It's not words. So that's the truth. The truth is Torah Shabbat Tav, 90 shiurim. Let's do the 90th shir. So let's start from 4 lines from the bottom on Daf Sadi Amud Beis, where the Gemara introduces a question. Badiklan Rava, Eishes Kohen Shenenza, Yesh Laksuva, Ein Laksuva. A woman who's married to a Kohen, and she's raped, right? She's asura to her husband. She has to get divorced from her husband, just like an Eishes Yisrael, who willingly committed adultery, right? She have to get divorced. But Eishes Kohen, even if it's against her will, they have to get divorced. The Gemara in Ksuvo says, at Daf Non Gimel, or Daf Nun Aleph, I think it is. So the question is, Rava had for his students, is she entitled to a ksuva or not? Right? Does she get a ksuva? Because on the one hand, right, she ushered her husband like an Eishes Yisrael b'ratzon, so she doesn't get a ksuva. On the other hand, it's not her fault, right? Eishes Yisrael, she went ahead and willingly, committed adultery, but this woman, it was against her will. So. And it's not her fault. So she's married to a Kohen. It's the Kohen's fault. Kohen being a Kohen, it's like owning a field and it got inundated with a flood. So they answered him on the top of Sadi Aleph and Aleph. Masnisini, it's our Mishnah. Omeres Tmeani Lach Yesh Laksuva. Right? If she says Tmeani Lach, meaning, and we said we're talking about Eishes Kohen, the Gemara says we're talking about Eishes Kohen, right? Who else is it talking about? Because the Mishnah's deliberating, right? The Mishnah Rishon says she's Yotza, therefore she get divorced. But no, Laksuva, and Mishnah says we don't believe her. However, according to the Mishnah Rishonah, she gets a ksuva. Now, the Gemara says it must be talking about Eishes Kohen, because Eishes Yisrael, right? If it was Eishes Yisrael, she wouldn't have a ksuva. The only way to get divorced is baratzon, and she committed adultery willingly. She forfeits her ksuva. So it must be talking Eishes Kohen, and it must be talking about Ba'ones, and we see she gets a ksuva. Now, so that's the Gemara's answer. She gets a ksuva. The question is, why did she get a ksuva? The reason she's believed. Right, she's usher because Shavi Nafshech Yisura. She's an Eidechad Neman Yisura. She's at least Neman about herself, right? So she considered herself usher. They have to get divorced, right? She said she was raped. But the question is, that works for the Isser, Eidechad Neman Yisurin. But for Dini Mammon, it's riot to Motzi the Ksuva. How does she get the Ksuva? Also, that's Maskana. She gets the Ksuva. How does she get the Ksuva? Eidechad is Neman to Mechayev Shvua. 75% is an assumption. It's not a raya. Right? Lahoti mamon, to motzi the ksuva from the husband, you need a raya, you need a definitive proof. So where's the proof? Eid Echad is not a good enough proof. So the answer is fundamental. We talked about this a little bit in Maseches Ksuvos, that who really is the muksach in the ksuva, right? You're not motzi mamon. If someone has a chazaka, they own their money, you can't take out their money from them. You can't be motzi from the chazaka. However, by a ksuva, it's not really so clear who owns the money, right? Because the woman has the shtar ksuva. She has to have the shtar ksuva, or else you can't be together. She has the shtar ksuva. So even though he has the money, but when you have a shtar, right? A shtar is a verbal, it's a verbal or written chazaka on that money, right? It's a right, right? When someone lends out money to somebody else, and the other person writes a shtar, right? An IOU. So the person holding the shtar, right? The creditor, in a sense, he's muksak on that money because of that shtar. So the same thing over here by ksuva, even though it's machlokas, is ksuva kvuya damya or not. Beis Hillel's a ksuva is not gavu, it's not already collected. Beis Shammai says it's already collected. That's regarding something else like a sota, a different halacha. But regarding money over here, even though it's not kvuya dami, we possibly like Beis Hillel, shar omer legavo says lav kagavu dami. It's not like it's collected, but in terms of who's the muhsak over here, right? So who has the chazaka? Muhsak comes from chazaka also. Who has the assumption that they own the money? Who has the assumption they own the money? Like we say, a person who has money, you can't necessarily prove it belongs to him. He could have stolen it from somebody, but there's a chazaka. If I have a money or a movable object on my hand, my possession, we assume it belongs to me. So when you have a star, we assume it belongs to the woman already. So therefore, she's not motzing the mammon. She's not. Once she proves that we believe her that she was violated, so then we could assume that she gets collecting suva because she's holding the suva. It's not motzi mammon. Having suva is not considered motzi mammon. She's the mochzak, so therefore she's entitled to the suva also. This is really about Masechah Suvos, but I'd like to end off Masechah Nedarim, connecting Nedarim back to the previous Masechah Suvos. So I hope you enjoyed the final shir Masechah Nedarim. Stay tuned for more great shiurim, Iyun with Benzion in Masechah Nedarim coming up tomorrow.